And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. This is episode 182, and I'm your host, Lord Sterling. Thank you so much for being with us here today. All of you censored commoners got all kinds of crazy stuff to talk about today. Julian Assange is free, but at what cost? Is there some kind of gag order or a promise of silence that he's made to keep quiet in exchange for being free? We also have Tommy Robinson being arrested again, this time in Canada. Plot twist. Usually he's getting arrested over in the UK. We also have Trump hit with a gag order today by CNN heading up to the campaign as they try to interfere in one way or another. Thank you guys so much for being here today. Shout out to the McGroin clan over at Bongino, the Bongino Army. We have Dan live right now. We're going to be raiding him shortly. But first, let's go through the housekeeping type stuff. Make sure to join us weekdays, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time-ish, as we break down all the crazy clown world clusterfuck chaos that's going on every day. It's insane. Make sure to use hashtag #CommonCensored when you share the show on X, where you can find us at _CommonCensored. Thanks to all of our new followers over on Rumble. I'll be listing you guys off in a little bit. Ed Hoskins, good to see you. Threeper, Caps, McGroin, Shoemaker, Mama Mac. Thank you guys for being here. Links to all of the content we discussed today will be posted down in the description after the show. So if you're watching this later on and you want to maximize the efficiency of your attention and time, feel free to click down in the description, skim through the topics. Maybe we might have some timestamps today, like usual. I know Mama Mac's on the road, so I'm not sure if that'll be happening. But typically there will be timestamps, so you can jump to the stories that you find interesting and hop over right to when we talk about them in the show. Thanks, Mama Mac. Make sure to check out alplama.com, your new herbal health guru with a tincture for every ailment you may have. Natural remedies so you can avoid the petrochemical, pharmaceutical hellscape that wants to make you sick and dependent on them. And if you want to support the show, you can always head on over to our Linktree, where you can subscribe monthly via Subscribestar and Locals. You can check out our merch. We have all kinds of fun stuff over there. My favorite of which, of course, is the Think for Yourself Question Authority line of merch. Ladies, we got stuff for you. Skirts, tank tops, dudes. We got sweatshirts, everything you guys could want. And if you support the show, you'll be automatically entered in our contest, our ongoing contest, to win copies of our books. Common Sense, first edition revived, made from high-resolution copies of a January 1776 first edition of Common Sense. We also have the redacted version, where we blacked out all the substance, rendering it impossible to read, but begging the question, is a revolution against tyranny even possible when the public commons, the free marketplace of ideas, is suppressed and stifled and interfered with? Your guess is as good as mine. Let's hop over into the news. We've got Julian Assange walking free yesterday, boarding a plane after being released from prison, heading back to Australia, mate. This is some great news. Amazing. That's right, Shoemaker. What's sleep? Oh, man. I went to bed early last night so we could get up and Rumble raid Bongino. He's been raiding himself lately. And so let's it seems like he wants somebody else to raid him, so let's do it. Let's raid him ourselves so he doesn't have to do it himself. Thank you guys for being here. Major news with Assange going free. This was like the last thing I expected to see last night, honestly. Breaking news, Dom Luker posting, WikiLeaks founder and the man who led to Hillary Clinton's emails being exposed, Julian Assange, has just released a plea deal, or been released, reached a plea deal with the U.S. Department of Justice. Sorry, I thought that this was on screen before. Julian Assange being freed, walking over to his airplane to vacate and head back home to Australia. Great news. He reached a plea deal with the U.S. Department of Justice, allowing him to be released from prison, expected to return home to Australia. As we know, he's been incarcerated in the Belmarsh prison since 2019 after spending 7 years cooped up in the Ecuadorian embassy. He's been dealing with health issues and everything, but now he's back and he's looking healthy. So big props to Julian Assange for doing good work, and congratulations on your freedom. Mr. Assange, this is awesome.
One of the hopeful things that I've discovered is that nearly every war that has started in the past 50 years has been a result of media lies. The media could have stopped it. If they had searched deep enough, if they hadn't reprinted government propaganda, they could have stopped it. But what does that mean? Well, that means basically populations don't like wars. And populations have to be fooled into wars. Populations don't willingly and with open eyes go into a war.
That's right, nobody wants to go to war.
If we have a good media environment, then we'll also have a peaceful environment.
WikiLeaks, I love WikiLeaks.
It's all a banker's game.
Of a bad deal based on WikiLeaks, right?
They want to distract us from WikiLeaks. It's been amazing what's coming out on WikiLeaks.
A lot of coffee, D. A lot of coffee.
WikiLeaks and just see what they said about Bernie Sanders.
Even Chelsea Clinton, the WikiLeaks email show.
I'm all jacked up on the InfoWars foundational energy.
Interest of the Clinton Foundation and the State Department.
I know there is something having to do with Julian Assange. I've been seeing what's happened with Assange, and
one of Trump's biggest mistakes, not freeing Julian
I
Assange.
would imagine mostly by the Attorney General, who's doing an excellent job. So he'll be making a determination. I know nothing really about him. It's not my deal in life.
Boom. Let's jump over to this clip with Ashok Kumar posting, Julian Assange is free. This video is why he was imprisoned, for revealing the brutality of the American empire.
All right, firing. Line here. Let the stage line up. Let me know when you gather or shoot. Light them all up.
202 traffic, 260.
Come on, fire. Hey, Roger. Keep shooting.
Oh, man. It's sad that people in power, you know, put us in positions like this, doing bad stuff, forcing us into wars that we should have no part in. It's really sad. Really, really sad. We shouldn't be involved with most of these conflicts, pretty much any of them. I like the Ron Paul non-interventionist foreign policy. I think most of you guys will probably agree about that. Let's see what's next on the list over here. More Julian Assange footage. Julian Assange, this is Dave Benner, nemesis of neocons, posting this. Julian Assange is a hero who still deserves a full pardon and medals for exposing regime war crimes. We won't rest until he gets them, for sure. Take a look at this one.
Because the goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal is to use Afghanistan to
That's right,
wash
Buckeye.
money out of the tax bases of the United States, out of the tax bases of European countries, through Afghanistan, and back into the hands of a transnational security elite. That is the goal, i.e. the goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war.
Right, if they wanted a successful war, they wouldn't have declared war on an idea. Terrorism, the war on terror, something that'll just keep on going forever and ever. There will always be terrorism, especially when you're manufacturing new terrorists, the way the CIA puts it, with blowback, meddling in foreign conflicts. So let's launch this raid over on Bongino. We gave him a few minutes to get started. I'm going to launch the raid over on my end right here. Boom, confirming raid. Missiles launching. You guys go over and click that. Enjoy the Bongino show. Let him know Common Censored sent you guys. I'm going to keep on going over here. Feel free to come back if you choose. But yeah, let's go raid the hell out of Bongino. Common Censored has raided the stream. Boom! We are go. Common Censored sent me. Booyaka. All right. We are go. Let's see what Dan's talking about real quick.
Change their collection mechanisms. Folks, do you see how important this January 6th narrative is to them? If it falls apart, and I should lay out the narrative. It's pretty simple. MAGA rioters caused an insurrection, nearly took the country over. That's their narrative. Stop laughing. We get it's ridiculous and stupid. I understand.
And they used
That's
it to
their narrative. That's us.
build up a surveillance state against all of us.
Here's the problem. We don't know the story yet. There's a lot of suspicion. Folks in the chat, I get it. I totally understand. You're like, hey, here's the story. They set us up. I get it. The problem is they're hiding the evidence. They're hiding the evidence. If they set us up, they have the texts, they have the emails, the FBI, the Secret Service, whoever was involved that day or not involved, they have the info and we don't. It's asymmetrical information warfare. They can play hide the ball as long as they want. Do you get what I mean by asymmetric?
Catch you later, Ed, brother.
They can go and subpoena or just take your metadata, which they have. They have your information, but you don't have theirs. So it's impossible for us to prove what they did while they can continue to blame us for what they did.
It's always a one-sided system. Same thing with taxes. You know, you provide them with your money and they're supposed to provide you with a receipt for what they do with it, except you comply and they don't, just like we covered the other day in America from Freedom to Fascism, the epic documentary by hero and producer Aaron Russo, who directed Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and other things. Let's hop back over to some Assange stuff and make sure to let Bongino know that Common Censored sent you. How about this? You guys remember this? Pizzagate originated from John Podesta's emails that were published by Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. This is Shadow of Ezra posting over here on X. The emails from John Podesta and his brother Tony used FBI documented code words for pedophilia. I don't know if we can say that on YouTube. Let's zoom and enhance and check out this horrifying clip.
Warning to viewers, the following images are disturbing. This all began after WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange released hundreds of thousands of secret documents detailing a backstabbing Clinton Foundation, but it now appears the real truth Assange was leading us to was hidden between the blurred lines of Hillary Clinton's campaign manager John Podesta's released emails. Fast forward past John Podesta's brother Tony's casual email exchange with thelemic spirit cooking adherent Marina Abramovic. The Rosetta Stone was needed next, a verification that high-level Washington, D.C. predatory pedophiles were using a code to communicate child sex trafficking as casually as ordering a pizza. An FBI unclassified document from WikiLeaks revealed symbols and logos used by pedophiles to identify sexual preferences, to include those who sexually abuse children, as well as those who produce, distribute, and trade child pornography, are using various types of identification logos or symbols to recognize one another and distinguish their sexual preferences.
Oh, God, it makes me so mad. But at least we had Louisiana, I think it was the governor yesterday, who signed the bill into law, allowing physical surgical castration of the pedos, which is a big step forward. Good progress down there in Louisiana. Shout out to you, Louisiana. Let's continue over here. Oh, you guys remember the Boy Love logo over here with the triangle spiral? We see that all over the place. I think I've seen Mad Maxine Waters potentially wearing that logo on a ring or something as well.
There should also be attentive to pedophilia symbols advertised on websites. During examinations of computer files, investigators should be conscious of subjects who try to conceal child pornography by labeling them with symbols instead of typical suggestive, explicit names. Thus, the interest in code words. Now, clues. The menu from Comet Ping Pong. Notice the symbol of the ping pong paddles and its clever resemblance to the FBI document's symbol for child love. All right, hang on, New York Times.
We can
before
thank
you
him for
declare
exposing this
fake news from your ivory tower. Now look at the symbol for Besta Pizza, just 2 doors down from Comet Ping Pong Pizza, boldly using the symbol for boy lover as was recorded on the unclassified FBI document.
I don't know if you guys have been watching The Boys on Amazon Prime, but they're coming hard after MAGA and after conservatives, libertarians this season. They had a Truth Con, which is like a convention with all these conspiracy theories, and they had a scene where somebody came into this foundation that one of the characters has with a gun, demanding to see the kids in the basement that are being trafficked, kind of like the Comet Ping Pong situation that occurred a few years back where a dude showed up with a shotty and started blasting off rounds inside of Comic Ping Pong pizza place. So they're just ridiculing the hell out of us, and their viewership is tanking. It was at like 51% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes a couple days ago, just being obliterated as they openly weaponized their show against MAGA leading into the election. Pretty brutal. Let's continue.
The evidence begins to reveal that Besta Pizza and Comet Ping Pong Pizza may be competing for the lucrative Washington, D.C. pedophile market right out in the open. Comet Ping Pong owner James Alefantis needs to explain himself, and so he did, via the Hillary Clinton colluding New York Times. But so many questions remain unanswered. Why was this said by the band Heavy Breathing performing in Comet Ping Pong?
He likes the world sounds. Tamales.
And little boys.
And children. I think that was his manager.
No.
Spikes. Wood chippers. Ropes. Volcanoes.
Why is the artwork
due process,
adorning
FBI's
Comet
SO.
Ping Pong's walls at the very least so insanely creepy, especially for a family restaurant? Why is Alefantis so close to Tony Podesta as revealed in the WikiLeaks emails? And why does Mr. Podesta collect questions?
Super, super sketchy. Let's jump over to a post covering this by Wall Street Apes, at Wall Street Apes on X. Now that Julian Assange has been freed, it's important to share this clip again. Julian needs to be careful. Tucker Carlson exposes the CIA was planning on murdering Julian Assange. Mike Pompeo was involved in that, if I remember correctly. Tucker also reveals that the director of the CIA threatened him and said it was a crime to expose the CIA, murdered a sitting president, JFK. Let's check out this clip from Tucker. Thanks again to you guys for being here. Shout out to Braden McGroin and Caps McGroin. You guys rock. And Bucky McGroin, I see over there too. Let's check it out. Tucker, take it away.
Committed a crime. He's threatening me. He's in my car. With my dog sitting next to me. I'll never forget this. And I said, are you really saying that to reveal that the U.S. government had a role in the murder of a democratically elected president, to say that out loud, that's the crime? What about the actual crime, which is murdering a president? Like, you're covering up for that, Mike Pompeo.
What did he say to that?
He had no response at all. And so Mike Pompeo is the one who pressed Trump to keep those documents secret. And so it's like, what's crazy to me is not just that Pompeo did that. I think Pompeo is a really sinister person and a criminal. I think that because the facts suggest that. He was caught. Yahoo News, Mike Isikoff wrote a long piece on this several years ago. His employees went to Mike Isikoff and said, hey, Mike Pompeo was plotting to murder Julian Assange, who's never even been charged with a crime in the United States, as CIA director. That's illegal. You're not allowed. Federal employees are not allowed to just kill people they don't like, okay?
It's called pure evil.
So
100% evil.
That's who Mike Pompeo is. But he somehow intimidated Trump into not releasing this. Well, okay, that's all bad. Right? I think it's criminal behavior.
Criminal behavior indeed. Let's hop over to Gunther Eagleman at Gunther Eagleman, who's got an important post over here. Listen to these words spoken by Julian Assange. The goal is not to completely subjugate Afghanistan. The goal of Afghanistan is to wash money out of the tax bases of the United States. The goal is to have an endless war, not a successful war. But he adds a good spin on it over here. Now look at Ukraine. In February 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. By April, there were tentative talks of a peace deal. Why then did British Prime Minister Boris Johnson seek to end the talks? Simple. They don't want the war to end. Just like Julian Assange said, they want an endless war on an idea, not something that can even be ended conceptually. It's insane, and people just suck it up and fall for it. They get whipped up in the mass formation psychosis frenzy, fear-induced psychosis, hypnotized by the media, and then they just willingly send all of our money overseas, billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, when we are dozens of trillions of dollars in debt. It makes no sense. We're going to borrow money to lend it to countries that aren't even our allies, like Ukraine. It's absolutely insane. To date, America has spent approximately $175 billion in aid to Ukraine. To what end? Gunther Eagleman says. When do the peace talks resume? When do people understand that Ukraine and Afghanistan have all the same underlying values? Yeah, it's insane. American AF writes, that's why the deep state doesn't want Trump in office. He had the world at peace. The Abraham Accords, etc. Russia, chilling. North Korea, friendly relations. China, I don't know. I'm not sure about China. But generally speaking, yeah, we're in a much better position with Donald J. Trump as president. Let's hop over to Simon Godek next, who's talking about this as well. Dr. Simon Godek, the most canceled scientist, according to his profile. 20 years ago, George Bush and Tony Blair brazenly launched an illegal war in Iraq, leading to the senseless slaughter of millions of innocent lives. An abomination. You guys might remember, what was her name? Madeleine Albright being asked about the 500,000 dead Iraqi children and saying that it was worth it, that we would do it again. These people are completely evil. It's insane. Today, these architects of chaos are rich, rewarded, and enjoying their freedom, while Julian Assange, who courageously exposed their heinous war crimes, languished in confinement within the Ecuadorian embassy and rotted in prison until yesterday. The fact that this is even possible in a supposedly enlightened and lawful Western society shows the illusion we live in. This is what happens when you have controlled corporate media just pumped into the soft heads of a population dumbed down by the federal education system, where John D. Rockefeller, who was involved with getting it created, said, we want a nation of workers, not of thinkers. That's right, Buckeye. Gunther's a good follow on X. Agreed. This is just madness. Those who dare to fight for freedom are thrown into prison, while pseudo-journalists turn a blind eye and war criminals are celebrated with Nobel Peace Prizes and other accolades, cheered on by the very prostitutes who should be holding them accountable. I'm glad he said prostitutes, because I've been thinking about that word lately. It was coined by Gerald Celente, Trends Forecaster magazine founder, years ago, probably a decade ago. The prostitutes in the press just doing whatever they're paid to say. Prostitutes, a genius phrase in my opinion. Thanks to Julian Assange, Gunther continues, and thousands of citizen journalists like myself, the world is slowly but steadily waking up. With Julian's release, the world has become a fairer place. Welcome back to what they call freedom, Julian. That's right. Big shout out to Julian Assange. Couldn't be happier to see him freed. It's a long time in the making, way too late. He should have never been in prison in the first place. WikiLeaks totally changed the world. The Vault 7 leaks showing the CIA's capability to hack places and leave the digital fingerprints of any nation that they want to frame for the hacking. CrowdStrike, the DNC emails come to mind. Situation is nuts. Let's take a look at this clip.
20 years ago, the US and UK invaded Iraq. Today, Tony Blair is free to go on television, has made a huge amount of money, the same with George Bush. At the same time, Julian Assange languishes in Belmarsh prison because he told the truth about this war.
Light them all up.
There is something deeply wrong with a society with those kind of priorities. When you look
So
at the
messed
people
up,
who
man.
brought us the war in Iraq,
It's
the
madness.
people who used
This is
everything
madness.
at their disposal, the state machine, parliament, the media, when you look at what all those people did, nobody has faced any of the consequences. Even when the Chilcot report reported, Tony Blair set up his own press conference, paid for by the immense wealth which he now has, the many houses that he has. He was made envoy for peace in the Middle East. He was given a knighthood last year. Whereas all the people who told the truth about the war, the people who marched, what happened to them? The Muslim community,
No good deed goes
penalised
unpunished.
by the prevent system for telling the truth and for standing up for their rights. The people like Julian Assange, imprisoned in Belmarsh for all these years for telling the truth. I remember Tony Blair, the day of February the 15th, when we had so many people marching in London. He said, even if 1 million people march in London, that's not as many as Saddam Hussein killed. Well, the war in Iraq ended up killing more people. He talked about human rights. This is about democracy. It's about getting rid of a dictatorship. After he stopped being Prime Minister, what did he spend his time doing? Advising dictators. The truth is, all of these were lies. All of them were things where they said, we are going to make things better, and actually they made it worse.
WMDs,
And
all
not
lies.
just in Iraq. In the last 20 years, armament worldwide, amount of money spent on military has doubled. Nearly $2 trillion are now spent on arms every year, making the world a much more dangerous place. We've now got conflict, not just between dictator in the Middle East and the biggest imperial power in the world, the United States. We've now got effectively a proxy war in Ukraine between two major imperial powers, and both of them with nuclear arms. We've got the much more real possibility of war with China. Again, this will be a nuclear war, and therefore the devastation of humanity. So exactly the opposite of what we were told 20 years ago has turned out to be the case.
History just repeats itself. It's such a messed up situation, man. I forgot to do our disclaimer, so let's do that real quick. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. Question authority. Boom. All right. So, and meanwhile, as all of this craziness is happening, we have fools like Mike Pence over here talking shit. This is so ridiculous. Lou Valentino posting over here. Shout out to Lou. Mike Pence says, Julian Assange endangered the lives of our troops at a time of war and should have been prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The Biden administration's plea deal with Assange is a miscarriage of justice and dishonors the service and sacrifice of the men and women of our armed forces and their families. There should be no plea deals to avoid prison for anyone that endangers the security of our military or the national security of the United States ever. Fuck you, Mike Pence. You loser. What a clown, man. Dude is totally ridiculous. So this is all going on. And then, meanwhile, we have Jake Lang, the J6 prisoner, and a bunch of the other J6 prisoners on a hunger strike as they're being held captive. Please keep Jake in your prayers, and please call Metropolitan Detention Center and let them know we are very concerned for Jake's well-being and we are watching closely. Let them know his voice is the only way we will be convinced he is okay, and he should not be denied his legal calls. Here is the information to contact Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center, area code 718-840-4200. Again, that's area code 718-840-4200. It has been 8 days of this hunger strike already, apparently. Let's take a look at some of this clip with Jake Lang explaining the situation.
Hello, America. It's Jake Lang. This is day number 8 of the January 6th hunger strike. If you could only understand what our bodies are going through right now, not having any sustenance or nutrients for 8 days. They're probably trying to hide it from you. The prison officials at MDC Brooklyn, the U.S. Marshals, the
Sounds like it to me. I haven't heard anything about it. So if you're interested in that, link will be in the description. Let's hop over to our next big story of the day. Loki's Lowdown, a little bird, told me about this story. Loki, if you're new here, is our mascot. My green cheek conure, she's still asleep right now. She usually doesn't. I usually don't get up until like 1 p.m. when I get her up. So let's take a look at this clip over with Jesse Waters at Jesse B. Waters. Thanks, Caps, for the heads up on that. I'm unaware of that whole situation, so appreciate that. Jesse Waters, CNN just slapped a gag order on the Trump campaign days before the CNN debate. We knew Trump's mic would be muted during the debate, but we didn't know his campaign's mic would be muted before it. That's insane. Let's see what's going on over here. Jesse Waters been doing a pretty good job over at Fox, in my opinion, filling in the gap for Tucker. Some pretty hard-hitting stuff. Let's check out this video.
It was billed as the fight of the century. Before he faced off against Smokin' Joe Frazier, the great Muhammad Ali said, "I want 15 referees to be at this fight because there ain't no one man who can keep up with the pace I'm going to set except me." It's fight night in Washington. Trump stepping back on the debate stage, and Democrats already smell trouble.
President Biden versus Donald Trump is going to be
Charlemagne the fraud.
More like V. So this shit is like a real live freestyle battle. Good luck, President Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck.
Everything in terms of rap.
Keep up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's going to be. Listen, I don't know. Maybe it won't be bad. Maybe they got some new shit they've been working on, some super serum. You know what I mean? That they're going to shoot.
It's going to be bad.
It's going to be.
Dude, that's right. On Friday, Joe Biden started a 7-day vacation. What? They've got to just be testing out a whole variety of different cocktails to see what works best. Kind of reminds me of Adolf Hitler with his Vitamultin serum. He had intestinal problems that were a result of taking painkillers for syphilis, and they would knock him out, and he wouldn't be able to wake up in the morning. So his doctor came up with this crazy concoction that mixed together vitamins and methamphetamine, and they would literally inject Hitler every day in the morning and get him up in a frenzy to do his crazed Hitler type stuff. Let's continue here, because Joe Biden's they're doing the same thing with Joe.
Bad. Donald Trump is dangerous because he's funny.
Yeah.
He's dangerous because he's funny.
Yeah.
He's
Charlemagne
going
the
to
God
give
is a
us
total
one of the
clown.
greatest stand-up specials we've ever seen.
He's right about that, though. He's funny as hell.
Too. We're 3 days from the CNN presidential debate, and the network's already proving won't be a fair fight.
What do you expect from Joe Biden?
Are you serious, Buckeye? Buckeye says that there are reports that they have Joe Biden practicing standing. I thought they were going to be sitting. They're going to have him standing for 90 minutes. It's suicide. Like Rocky IV. You can't win. You've seen him. You know how strong he is. Oh my God, dude. That is freaking hilarious. Thanks for letting me know.
Well, first of all, it takes someone 5 minutes to Google Jake Tapper, Donald Trump, to see that Jake Tapper has consistently
stop this interview if you're going to keep
President
attacking
Trump
my colleagues.
to Adolf Hitler.
We played this clip. They shut down his campaign spokesman.
CNN cuts your mic for saying Google Jake Tapper. CNN just slapped a gag order on the Trump campaign days before the
Nice,
debate.
Caps.
We knew Trump's mic would be muted during the debate, but we didn't know his campaign's mic would
Smart
be muted
move.
before it. You can go on CNN and lie about Trump, Russia, call Republicans racist Nazis, but you can't say Tapper's biased.
Nope. Tapper can't call Jake Tapper biased. Yeah, they literally have to probably spend this whole week just getting Joe Biden to practice standing to build those leg muscles. We've seen him shuffling around like a second-generation Chinese humanoid robot, barely able to walk. So I really don't think he could stand for 90 minutes. They're probably just building up his leg muscles right now. They probably got him strapped with electrodes, just electrically charging his legs to make the muscles contract, like those abdominal devices they sell at like 3 a.m. on those ads I'm talking about. Let's continue.
If Jake's not biased, why is he celebrating Trump losing?
There's also been a time of extreme divisions, many of the divisions caused and exacerbated by President Trump himself. The unwillingness to respect facts and science and do everything that can be done to save lives during a pandemic. But now the Trump presidency is coming to an end.
Oh,
to an end. for tens of millions of our fellow Americans.
He's coming back.
Their long national nightmare is over.
We know what.
And for tens of millions of leftist scumbag un-Americans, your nightmare is about to begin again. And we would drink your tears, but you're all jib-jabbed up, so we can't drink those tears anymore because of all that spike protein shedding. Oh, well.
What's in this corner?
Still enjoy them.
They're gagging the Trump campaign and giving Biden pointers.
For President Biden, one more piece of advice, because this is still a physical, visual medium, right? He's kind of got resting old face, right? So you need him to. I don't think
Such a balanced network.
Bars in hell, resting old face.
And so he needs to smile. And when he smiles, it goes away a little bit. Because when he smiles, his face comes alive. I would just say if they're practicing this, practice smiling.
You basically just said smile more.
I did, to an 80-year-old man.
Yesterday at Camp David, practicing standing for 90 minutes.
There you go,
working
Buckeye.
On his resting old face.
Practicing
NBC News
standing.
says his
This
team's
is real
been
life.
meticulously studying Trump in an effort to best identify what might get under his skin. Biden's goal Thursday is to make Trump snap. He'll be fighting dirty. Every shot will be below the belt. You're
Totally
twice
gone.
impeached, bigoted,
Or
bankrupted,
caps.
convicted felon. Trump's muted when Biden's trashing him, so he needs to compose himself. Say, namaste. And when Biden's time is up, react calmly. Don't
speed
take
this up a
debate.
little bit.
Because Biden's going to make the debate all about Trump, because Joe doesn't have a record to run on. Trump needs to make the debate all about the American people. Joe's trying to lock me up instead of the illegals raping and murdering our women and children. I never went bankrupt. Bidenomics is bankrupting our country, like that. The Biden camp's feeling the pressure. Politico says there's feelings of disappointment and depression with Biden's biggest fundraisers who watch their cash advantage just vanish. Thursday's make or break for the Joe Biden legacy. If he falls flat on his face, both figuratively and literally, it's a green light for the Democrats' switcheroo in Chicago.
We may literally see him fall flat on his face. There, it seems like this, like he's saying, it could give a green light for the switcheroo at the DNC. This is like his last chance to prove that he's capable, which he's not. He's destined for failure. Who's going to be the replacement? Is it going to be Gavin Newsom? Is it going to be who do you guys think it'll be? Big Mohawk Obama, Hillary? Will the golden muumuu levitate across the DNC stage as H.A. Goodman predicted in 2020? It could happen, man. It could happen. Oh yeah, I will definitely join you guys over at McGroin. I appreciate the invite, McGroin Nation. Shout out to McGroin Nation, the Bongino Army. Fuck yeah.
So Democrats are promising a juiced-up Joe.
Biden is taking this very seriously, and I'll tell you, you're going to see a very energized President Biden who is looking forward to having these direct conversations with Donald Trump on Thursday night in Atlanta.
Trump knows Joe's not going to come really that sleepy.
So tonight, we'll refer to him as Sleepy Joe, because right now,
Sleepy Joe,
as you know,
bringing
he's
back the
been reporting
name.
that right now, Crooked Joe's gone to a log cabin to study, prepare. No, he didn't. He's sleeping now because they want to get him good and strong. So a little before debate time, he gets a shot in the ass.
While Biden mocked debate Trump impersonators for a week with 16 advisors in the woods, Trump's campaigning on Democrats' home turf, Philly, and asking the crowd what they want to see.
How should I handle him? Should I be tough and nasty, or should I be tough and nasty and just say you're the worst president in history, or should I be nice?
Could be. That's a viable choice there.
The base is already fired up. We don't need any more nicknames and.
Plus, Hillary won't do it because they won't. Oh, thanks, Annie. I saw you subscribe the other day too. Appreciate you joining us. But Hillary, Michelle, if they replace Biden with somebody, whoever they replace him with is going to take the blame for the fall of the United States. So I don't think Hillary wants to be saddled with that. I don't think that Mohawk wants that either. But some lame brain like Hakeem Jeffries is a perfect guy to use as another patsy, an extension of Biden, who is meant to be the fall guy to take the blame for the destruction of the economy. I think Hakeem might be stupid enough to fall for that and willingly step into that role and be destroyed by the blowback that results.
We need, this is my 4 years. This was Biden's 4 years.
Buckeye knows
in a relaxed,
what's up.
specific, and charming manner. We're not saying Trump shouldn't be colorful.
Even I won't buy bacon anymore. It's too expensive. I said, I'd love to have some lovely bacon, darling. And she said, no, I'm sorry, it's too expensive.
Bacon's a great way to tell a story about inflation. Lincoln Riley
bacon.
is a way to tell a story about illegal immigration. Billions of dollars for 7 car chargers. There's your story about energy. Trump's been at the bodegas, the Chick-fil-A's, construction sites, the freezing cold courtrooms, the border. He's personally experienced the Biden presidency. Joe hides from it. You know how much Biden loves going to Philly? It's like the only place he campaigns besides Delaware. Biden has
Philly, aka Zombieland. I don't know if you guys have seen the videos coming out of there. I'm sure you have. But the people just on the fentanyl lean, just bent in half. It's defying physics. It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
He's gone to Philly for a cheesesteak in 14 years. That cheesesteak he's chowing down on probably cost $1.50 back then. Trump was at Tony and Nick's Saturday.
Nice.
These are my people.
Trump can go anywhere and instantly a crowd of just people backing him. Biden can set an event days in the future. Valentine Patriot, good to see you, man. Good to see you, bro. Thanks for being here. Biden can set an event for weeks in advance and get 6 people that have to stand in circles, social distancing. Nobody shows up for Biden.
Let me tell you, these people built America. You know that? These people built America. Make sure he gets a special sandwich for himself. Yeah, I'm going to do something. Come here. You're going to hit pay dude. You know what? Watch. Look at him, huh? You know what that is? Scam Jackson. Look at this guy now.
This is a great clip. This kid.
We just had it with
Look at that wig. You guys see how Joy Reid got called out by Ben Bergquam on video? He's like, "Oh, who did the hair? Did you get the hairstyle from Trump, or did Trump get it from you?" And she shaved her head. Total clown. You can't let people get to you like that. And it's a big win for Ben Bergquam that she actually did shave her head after the fact. Hilarious. Shows that she was hurt. We win. We won with that one.
Don't like y'all, thank you.
45 even left a $500 tip.
No tax.
Nice. Yeah, no tax on tips. That's a big one, guys. That's a huge one. That's going to get a lot of votes.
You ready? I'm going to give you $500. You guys all split it up. Thank you. I say this. Great things happen in Philadelphia. Let's go.
Trump.
And just like the Bronx,
Hilarious fast.
Trump went behind the blue wall and was showered with love.
I'm saying, if people need hope, I go out, I see
My
the
man.
greatest people. So we're in the middle of a pretty rough area, and it's a love fest. You see that? It's incredible. They want hope. They want to have a future. Listen to the people. And these are not people that would normally be going wild.
So they're slapping him with a gag order. And how about this? CNN over here is wilding out in other ways as well. This is A Better Life at @1_crazy_world posting this. CNN just raised the stakes after Trump's drug test comments, reposting Tim Pool, who said CNN is now threatening any social channels that provide commentary on the debate, stating they will not allow the use outside of CNN. Continuing, he points out, justly, commentary on a presidential debate is like basically the epitome of fair use, and we fully intend to provide insight and real-time fact-checking Thursday live on Timcast. We'll be going live here and covering the debate as well, just for reference. Anybody out there that might want to join us. Campaign was just stating facts. Nazi shit. Mo the Problem says CNN is the most corrupt news station there is. Why are they the ones who always host the debates? Yeah, for real, Tracy. Let's see. What do we got next? Oh, more CNN news. This is a crazy one. How about this? Do you guys see this? Gateway Pundit on fire. As always, posting this morning by Jim Hoft. CNN debate moderator's husband is one of the 51 spies who lied to the American public about Hunter Biden's laptop to steal the election. What are the odds of that? It's like a revolving door of corruption with all these people just connected. Far left CNN will host the first presidential debate between Trump and Biden. Trump haters Jake Tapper and Dana Bash will, quote, moderate the debate. They'll try to control and direct the debate in Joe Biden's favor, in other words. There is no word yet if CNN has leaked the questions early to Joe Biden's camp like they did for Kankel's Hillary Clinton. Moderator Dana Bash is not without controversy. Bash's former husband is an attorney and former chief of staff at the CIA. And Jeremy Bash is one of the notorious 51 liars and scumbags from the intel community who signed a letter in 2020 claiming the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. It had all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. What's up, D. Bergfeld? Valentine Patriot. My daughter's name is Valley. Oh, that's such a pretty name. I love it. That's cool, man. I don't know if I've ever heard that before for a name. Beautiful. Val. That's what I... Boom. Yeah. So this is insane. A little bit of a conflict of interest. Maybe pick somebody else, but no. CNN is corrupt as the day is long. Jeremy Bash currently serves as national security analyst for NBC News and its cable division, MSDNC. So here he is up on the right here in this famous New York Post cover. Spies who lie. The intelligence experts who falsely discredited Hunter Biden's laptop and still won't say sorry. I'm getting dysclexia a little bit early today, probably because I'm up so much earlier than normal. Roger Stone asks, how can CNN debate moderator Dana Bash be impartial, questioning Trump? She was married to the Trump-bashing Russiagate conspiracist, Biden donor, and Brennan aide Jeremy Bash, who signed the 2020 Intel statement falsely insisting Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian information. What do you guys think about Roger Stone? Yeah, great name, Valentine Patriot. I love it. Kyle Becker posting about it as well. Reminder, CNN debate moderator Dana Bash's husband, Jeremy Bash, was one of the 51 IC members who signed onto the infamous Hunter Biden hoax letter. Let's check this video out and see what's going on over here.
This looks like Russian intelligence. This walks like Russian intelligence. This talks like Russian intelligence. This effort by Rudy Giuliani and the New York Post and Steve Bannon to cook up supposed dirt on Joe Biden looks like a classic Russian playbook disinformation campaign. That assessment, by the way, is not my assessment. That's the assessment of the Trump intelligence community leadership, who in August of this year put out a statement saying that Andrei Derkash and Russian intelligence were trying to denigrate Joe Biden. And then the next month in September, Steve Mnuchin at the Treasury Department put out a statement saying that Derkash is a known Russian intelligence operative.
These people are clowns. I was saying from day one, having arguments with people on Facebook before I had a show, that there was literally 0% chance that the Russiagate allegations were true. It made no sense prima facie on its face. Trump is independently wealthy. He had no reason to submit to Russia for financing for his campaign. It made no sense whatsoever. It was complete nonsense. Anybody paying attention should have known that immediately, and I'm sure each and every one of you guys also knew it at the time. That's right, Buckeye. Liar! Fuck sticks! Shit! Leftards, these motherfuckers!
Los zurdos de mierda.
Thank you, Javier.
It has been for the last decade. So when the intelligence community goes in and warns Donald Trump that Rudy Giuliani is being worked over by Russian intelligence, and then Rudy Giuliani suddenly comes forward with these mysteriously created emails, probably hacked through a Russian intelligence operation, we have to acknowledge the fact that the President of the United States is supporting, is condoning, is welcoming a Russian intelligence operation in 2020.
I love the slow zoom.
This
so
is
ominous.
Collusion in plain sight. We don't need a special counsel. We don't need congressional investigations. The president is acknowledging it and welcoming it with open arms.
Think for yourself. Question authority. In other news, we have Tommy Robinson, that's his alias, who was famously arrested and thrown in prison over in the UK for exposing Islamic terrorism that was going on over there. British activist Tommy Robinson now arrested in Canada. Plot twist by undercover police after delivering a powerful speech on censorship and government overreach. Canada is fallen, guys. When I'm president, we will invade Canada and liberate it. We'll add them to the states, each of the provinces. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great. Jim Hoft wrote this article over at the Gateway Pundit. Look at him getting arrested over here by undercover scumbags with pedo mustaches. British journalist and renowned free speech activist Tommy Robinson was arrested in Calgary, Canada, shortly after delivering a powerful speech that criticized censorship and government overreach. Tommy Robinson, known for his fervent advocacy against censorship, was in Canada for a speaking tour organized in partnership with Rebel News, the steadfast Canadian patriots, the conservative Canadian media outlet. They're always being targeted and harassed as well. His tour was scheduled to include stops in Edmonton and Toronto following his Calgary event. His speech, which received a standing ovation from the audience, was abruptly followed by his arrest. 10 police officers. That's how many you need to arrest Tommy Robinson, including both uniformed and undercover personnel, swarmed Robinson after he exited the venue, placing him in an SUV and drove him away. Let's check out the video over at Rebel News. Rest in peace, headphones users. Sorry about that.
Okay, you've got 190. What about my stuff? What about my stuff? My passport stuff.
Right? UK puppet state Canada with the Queen still on their money. Doing the dirty work. Seriously, Caps. That was messed up. Right? Cameras there just like CNN posted up outside Roger Stone's house when they arrested him as well.
So, oi. Calgary's finest. Justin Trudeau. Tell me, did they tell you what you're being arrested for? I've got an outstanding warrant. Okay, thank you. I can't sit down, my hands gone. Where can I go to help him get a lawyer and get bail?
He'll have access to a lawyer.
Which police? APU. If you're going downtown to APU. Which precinct?
Keep up the good work, Tommy.
APU downtown. Where
SaveTommy.com. We got to support guys like Tommy putting their livelihoods on the line to stand up for us and our free speech. So, absolute craziness as usual. Ezra Levant, founder of Rebel News, provided details outside the Carriage Hotel in Calgary, expressing urgent concern over the nature of the arrest. Quote, the arrest. I'm standing outside the Carriage Inn Hotel in Calgary, where Tommy Robinson just finished giving a major speech to 150 Calgarians about freedom of speech and his battles in the UK. No sooner did he finish that speech and walk outside than he was swarmed by 10 police officers who put him in the back of an SUV. Levant continued expressing confusion and concern about the sudden arrest. We asked what the charge was. We asked where he was being taken to. The police refused to give us answers. Oh, nice, Caps. I'm definitely going to have to sub to Tommy on Rumble. Make sure to subscribe to Tommy, everybody. He's the man. I was terrified he was going to die in prison in the UK. They put him in an all-Islamic wing, and they were, he was like refusing to eat because the people that were making his food wanted him dead and all kinds of crazy stuff. He wouldn't eat anything unless it came from a can. Levant speculated that the arrest might be related to an immigration warrant. He immediately contacted one of Calgary's top-end criminal lawyers to assist with locating Robinson, who could be held at various detention centers depending on the alleged offense. Quote, I'm not surprised that the Canadian government, which takes orders from Justin Trudeau, would engage in censorship. Justin Castro. The censorship of a free speech activist like Tommy Robinson, Levant said. Tommy just can't catch a break, man. He just can't.
Tommy! You're out.
I'm out, but I'm...
Oh, he's out?
I'm banned from leaving Alberta. I'm banned from leaving Calgary.
No way.
Banned from leaving Calgary. I have to see.
They
want. I have to have my the conditions are conditions of release are. I have to give my passport in the morning. I'm not allowed to leave Canada. I said, what if I just want to go home? They said you're not allowed to. So if there's certain conditions, I'm not allowed to.
Valentine.
I have to come here every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have to give them
the
address of where I am, notify them of any hotel that I'm staying in, but not. I don't understand it in the sense
Val,
of.
good to see you.
Do you have to make any bond or surety? Do you have to put any money up?
No bond or surety. No, they just said I just have to wait now. But I said, well, how does that make sense? Because what if I meant to go home anyway? It's my daughter's birthday, and they said, well, you don't automatically, you can't go home. Basically, you can't. You don't automatically have permission to go home. We're taking your passport, and you're all waiting a hearing.
We love Tommy.
Now, obviously, fixing these problems is priority one, but in terms of your Canadian speaking tour, we had you scheduled for Edmonton tomorrow.
I'm not allowed to go to Edmonton. They made that clear.
I can't even finish the tour.
It says it here. Red Deer.
What's Red Deer?
Red Deer, that's a city in central Alberta.
Okay, that's where I'm allowed. Not allowed south of Red Deer, it says.
Unbelievable.
Turn in your passport no later than 11 a.m. Remain in southern Alberta, Red Deer to the USA border at all times.
That's so weird and arbitrary.
Well, that's to stop me going to Edmonton. It's to stop me talking in Toronto. That's the sole purpose of this. That's what I said. The sole purpose of this is to stop me having discussions and talking in the cities I was meant to be in.
maybe we'll have to reschedule that Edmonton event in Red Deer.
In Red Deer, yeah. Okay.
Maybe we'll have to get a bus to bring our Edmontonians down to Red Deer. Now,
let's do it. Sounds good to me. If you guys are new here, thanks for joining. I am Lord Sterling. This is Common Censored, and we are the censored commoners working together to act as force multipliers to exacerbate and accelerate the Great Awakening. Dan just rated his radio show. Hilarious. Boom. So yeah, let's move on to our next story. This one, I just thought this was kind of funny. Just a little spoof of Trump that somebody did, playing on the Hawk Tuah internet meme girl that's going around. Oh.
The latest one, the Hawk.
This is kind of funny. We're over here at D-Day Cobra.
Tuah. That's the latest one, the Hawk Tuah chick. She's all over my social media feed today and last night. Unbelievable. And, I'm thinking about making the Hawk Tuah chick my vice president. Could you imagine that? Trump Hawk Tuah 2024.
Oh, you guys get the gist. Let's hop over to Thomas Massey next at Rep. Thomas Massey. He's got some good ideas over here with bills he's introduced to abolish the Fed, terminate the Department of Education, end the federal ban of raw milk, stop the jib-jab mandates, quit taxing tips, and prohibit funding of censorship. What else needs to stop today to improve life in America? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. And let's abolish the income tax. Natalie F. Denelition, that's a good one. Tom Moore, term limits, balanced budget amendment, nice. Campaign finance reform, end all proxy wars. Yeah, how about a non-interventionist foreign policy constitutional amendment? That would be a good one. Remove all mRNA from market and indirectly via food supply. They're talking about jabbing up the cows and stuff. This is totally crazy. Yeah, I agree, Caps. Need to clean the House from top down, and the Senate. Yeah, exactly. Aniani, arrest the media and deport Democrats. I've been talking about a constitutional amendment to just deport all the Democrats. Send them to Elba or something. 25th Amendment for Biden, impeach border czar, camel toe Harris, heels up Harris for dereliction of duty, flat tax 10%, no deductions, eliminate 80% of government to get peak efficiency. That's something that eliminate property taxes. Good one, D. Add millstones. Hilarious. Yeah, 80% of government being removed. That's something that Trump and Vivek and Kash Patel and people have been talking about. Remittance tax, 10% for foreign money sent home. Use revs to fund border and security and wall. Eliminate all government welfare subsidies on alt energy, just all subsidies, period. This is one of the things that Davy Crockett talked about. If you look at his this article at fee.org called Not Yours to Give, it's a classic that I talk about all the time, where Davy Crockett learned the lesson that taxpayer money is not supposed to be used for private causes, like companies, like individuals paying off student debt, for instance. So I highly recommend this article. I'll post it over in the chat right now for you guys if you want to dive into that later on over at FEE Foundation for Economic Education. Not Yours to Give. Davy Crockett, who died at the Alamo. Legendary dude, legendary story, important principles discussed in that article. So let's see. Meanwhile, over at the FBI, they want 20 years now to produce records on their involvement with the Oklahoma City bombing. Which says to me that that they were involved in cleaning out the rot at the three-letter agencies need to be top priority. That's right, Buckeye. FBI, afuera! CIA, afuera! Just boom, get rid of all the three-letter agencies, basically. FYI, Antifa is saying, update your Rumble app, SAP. What? What? Antifa? Oh, no, not Antifa. So yeah, this is crazy. FBI wants 20 years to produce records on its involvement with the Oklahoma City bombing, kind of like how Pfizer. Oh, Anita. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Thanks. I appreciate that. Antifa. You know that phenomenon where you see like the first letter of a word and the last letter of a word, and then your brain fills in the middle? That's what happened right there to me. Anita McGroin. We love Anita. We love Anita. Anita's great. Everybody agrees. So yeah, just like how Pfizer and these companies want 75 years before they Dan Stifa. Hilarious. Before they release information on jib jab type stuff. FBI wants 20 years to produce records. And they wanted 75 years to keep the JFK stuff secret too, right? Probably because the same people that killed JFK also were involved with the Oklahoma City bombing. There's a documentary called A Noble Lie, which is about Oklahoma City bombing. You can find it on Rumble and elsewhere, I believe. Here's the listing on Amazon. But this is a really good documentary that exposes a lot of stuff that people don't know when it comes to OKC, including I feel you, Dot, or caps, including additional bombs, additional people, Timothy McVeigh, much like Lee Harvey Oswald or Osama bin Laden, seems to have been a patsy, and there were other people involved and all kinds of crazy stuff. I highly recommend checking out A Noble Lie about the Oklahoma City bombing. Let's jump over to our next topic. We got Paul A. Cipula over here on X posting about Disney, who just held a pride parade for children. Super insane. Courage 83. Check out Ultra Mega Nation only on Rumble. Will do. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Rising tide lifts all ships. We got to work together to accelerate and exacerbate the Great Awakening. So thanks for sharing. We'll check it out. Arrest all adults who took part in this. Paul A. Cipula says, including the parents. It's child abuse. Take a look at this. Actually, first let's hop over to this channel on Rumble, Ultra Mega Nation, just to give him a shout out. Ultra Mega Nation, 147 followers. Boom. Let me follow you guys right now. Russian subs to Alex Jones, WTF, ATF. Nice. Thanks for sharing, man. So let's check out this horrifying video from Disney, who also just got busted with their VP admitting to their discriminatory hiring practices.
If you're gonna spew into this.
I can't even look, man. I can't even look. And they got like the chipmunks, the Chippendale Rescue Rangers or whatever, like telling kids that this is all okay, this is all normal. You know, chop your junk off and be a tranny. This is messed up. Disney is occupied territory at this point. Makes me sick, man. Makes me sick. Nope. We need arrests. We need people. We can't allow this to continue. It's madness.
This is madness.
Complete and total madness. Thanks 3PO for backing me up there on that. Let's see. Libs of TikTok also posted about it, saying boycott Disney. Disney was also famously caught admitting they're working to inject queerness into their entertainment. We had a video of one of the people involved over there admitting to the not so secret gay agenda and how she puts all kinds of LGBTQ FAG material into her productions that she works on. Let's check out a little bit of a palate cleanser real quick. We need something to cleanse our palates after the horrifying transes people that we just saw dancing around down in Florida, I'm assuming. I could see them getting away with that type of stuff over in California at Disney Land, but not at Disney World. Come on, man. Yeah, that's right. Caps, it's been going on a long time. That's right. That's right. I believe that. So gay, Shoemaker. Totally. LGBTQ FAG. Let's check out this video. Even dogs apparently like cartoons, so here's a little palate cleanser after that horrifying parade. Guy shuts off the TV, the dog flips out. I was watching that, man! What the hell? That's right, Shoemaker. Really important. Talk to your kids about what they watch. Monitor what they watch. The dogs are happy again once they turn it on. Turns it off. Flip out again. Come on, stop tormenting that poor pup. Hilarious. Love to see it. Let's see, what do we got next on the list? Ooh, this is kind of a crazy one. We have a proposal for a new type of prison. This is Clint Russell over here at Liberty Lock Pod, who posted this on X. This was posted from Game of X. Hasham Al-Gaili posted this video of a proposed new prison system, which is basically like The Matrix, where they lock you in with these like pod things with virtual reality type thing, and you're in the Matrix basically in a little prison.
Welcome to Cognify, a facility designed to treat criminals like patients. Instead of spending years in an actual prison cell, prisoners could finish their sentence here in just a few minutes. Cognify could someday create and implant artificial memories.
They're like brainwashing you. Holy crap. I hadn't watched this yet. I was wrong about what it is. They're changing your brain with this neural system, it looks like, erasing bad thoughts. You can't have wrong think, no thoughts. And they're going to put in the way that you should think directly implanted into your brain. This is nuts.
Directly into the prisoner's brain. These complex, vivid, and lifelike memories are created in real time using AI-generated content. Depending on the seriousness of the subject's crime and their sentence, the memories could be tailored to the rehabilitation needs of each subject. The artificial memories implanted by Cognify would be seamlessly incorporated into the existing neural networks of the brain, preventing cognitive dissonance and ensuring the subject experiences the memories as if they were real. The Cognify concept offers a new approach to criminal rehabilitation.
How about no, Scotty? I don't like playing around with people's memories and stuff. It's not cool.
Transforming how society deals with offenders by focusing on rehabilitation rather than punishment. First, the prisoner is given a choice, either spending tens of years in a prison cell or seeking fast-track rehabilitation through artificial memory implantation. If the prisoner chooses to undergo fast,
and if we could wipe out that pedo section of people's brains, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good call, Caps. This one is not for us. It's to train their army. We get the FEMA camps. That's right. We covered a redacted video that came out about a week ago, week and a half at this point, 2 Fridays ago, where they had this lady who is involved, who has access to these contract websites where they're contracting people to build new FEMA camps in all 50 states for us. They realize that the Great Awakening is occurring and more people are waking up faster and faster. And they've got new FEMA camps in the works in all 50 states. More people are waking up. They need more space to hold us. It's going to be insane. So we'll all be hanging out in the FEMA camps if we lose, but we're not going to lose. We got to win.
Track rehabilitation, the Cognify device is used. Next, the prisoner undergoes high-resolution brain scanning to create a detailed map of their neural pathways.
There you go, Caps.
This brain map helps guide the Cognify device to target specific brain regions responsible for memory, reasoning, and logical thinking.
New York, is that FEMA Region 2? I know, or is that still in FEMA Region 1? I'm in FEMA Region 1 here in Connecticut.
Such as the hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, amygdala, parietal lobe, and anterior cingulate cortex. Once the target brain regions are identified, Cognify is then placed around the head of the prisoner. The intensity and the type of artificial memories is then adjusted depending.
You think they're just going to be using this on prisoners? Hell no, man. They're going to put people in re-education camps like the FEMA camps we're talking about. They're going to strap us into these things against our will and mind wash us. It's going to be nuts.
Depending on the crime. Inside the criminal's mind, time would pass differently, slower than in real life, making them experience years' worth of artificial memories in just a few minutes.
Time dilation.
Synthetic memory.
We're going to come out going, I know Kung Fu, like Keanu in The Matrix.
These are customized depending on the crime committed and the unique brain structure and psychological profile of the individual.
Shoemaker.
Violent offenders could experience memories that are designed to trigger empathy and remorse, seeing their crime from the perspective of their victim, feeling their pain and suffering firsthand. Some memories are designed to trigger consequences and trauma. Such memories could simulate the long-term consequences of violent actions, such as the grief of the victim's family or the physical and emotional trauma endured by the victim.
So they can basically enact trauma-based mind control by torturing you with emotional trauma. Speaking of The Matrix and things like that, let's hop over to Jimmy Corsetti at Bright Insight 6. And if you guys want to watch the rest of this video, I'll post the link in the chat for the Matrix prison brainwashing system so you guys can scope that out. Link will also be in the description after the show. But let's check out what Jimmy Corsetti is saying over here at Bright Insight 6. And if you guys are not familiar with his channel, Bright Insight, subscribe on Rumble or YouTube. It's fucking amazing. It's one of the best channels out there for exposing anomalies in history and megalithic mysteries and stuff like that. Deep archaeology, really good stuff. So Jimmy Corsetti saying, Hollywood encodes their movies with truth. The original Planet of the Apes is a profound example of this. There was a lost ancient civilization on Earth that was far more advanced than what we were led to believe. And it's being covered up in his estimation and mine as well. Evidence of a worldwide global situation with advanced technology and capabilities that existed before the Great Flood, which may have occurred at the end of the Younger Dryas period as sea levels rose 450 feet. But check this out. They're talking about the same type of thing in Planet of the Apes over here.
Discovered evidence of a simian culture that existed long before the sacred scrolls were written.
Objection! These remarks are profane and irrelevant.
The more ancient culture is the more advanced.
Man was here first. You owe him your science, your culture, whatever civilization you've got. Then answer me this. If man was superior, why didn't he survive?
There, in the face of that cliff, there is a vast cave. And in that cave, a fabulous treasure of fossils and artifacts.
Lieutenant, fetch your explosives. We're going to seal up the cave.
Yes, sir. Seal the cave?
That is correct, and you will both stand trial for heresy.
There's your Minister of Science, honor bound to expand the frontiers of knowledge.
Taylor, please!
Except that he's also chief defender of the faith.
There is no contradiction between faith and science.
He knew all the time, long before you found your cave.
Yep, they know about this. The Vatican, the Smithsonian Institute, they're covering up all kinds of evidence of Nephilim giants, potentially, of advanced civilizations that existed on Earth before modern iterations, before Rome, before Greece, who built atop the giant wreckage, the ruins of even more powerful civilizations like at Baalbek, Lebanon, where there's 1,000+ ton stones. Massive, incomprehensibly large megaliths. Nobody knows how they were made, how they were moved miles and lifted up dozens of feet. Stuff we can't even do today, basically.
Defender of the faith, guardian of a terrible secret. That's it, isn't it, Doc?
And they're covering it up as usual. Let's check in over with Babylon Bee, who we all know and love. Posted this about how they're fighting against censorship and for free speech. Big tech wants to censor what you can hear and say. Learn more about what the Babylon Bee is doing to protect free speech. Let's check out a minute of this. I saw it posted. I haven't watched it yet, but we love the Babylon Bee, so let's pump it a little. Whoops, wrong button there. Here we go.
Now X is just one platform. Not long ago, Elon Musk bought Twitter, changed his bio to Chief Twit, and sent me a DM that said, "Do you want the Babylon Bee restored? There will be no censorship of humor." We've been trying to think of a joke worth $44 billion ever since. But as resourceful and committed to free speech as he is, Musk is still just one man. And Twitter, now X, is just one platform. Censorship remains the rule on big tech. X is a welcome but rare exception. Just a couple of months ago, I was notified that the David Horowitz Freedom Center, a conservative nonprofit, was permanently suspended by Vimeo for posting a talk I'd given about censorship. Just think about the irony of that for a second. As if they wanted to make my point for me more emphatically than I ever could, they censored my talk about censorship. Why? Hate speech, they said. I was giving...
Censored my talk about censorship. Kind of reminds me of my book on Amazon that I made called the Definitive Argument Against Censorship. But the catch is that the whole book is just redacted black lines. They've censored the argument against censorship is the joke. But that's what they're actually doing.
Giving a talk about how the Bee had been censored unjustly for hate speech, and they censored it for hate speech. We've reached a point where you can't even talk about how they're censoring you without them censoring you. I think Dave Chappelle was right when he said, it shouldn't be this dangerous to talk. So what is it exactly that the lovers of censorship want from us? I think the answer is clear. They want acquiescence. They want submission. They want unquestioning conformity. They want us to give up and stop fighting, stop telling jokes, stop telling the truth. They want to raise the cost of speaking freely so high that we'd rather just keep our mouths shut to avoid all the hassle and penalties. And that would be the easy thing, wouldn't it? Adjust our behavior, fall in line, do our best to play by the rules of wokeness that try to reshape reality itself. It'd certainly be easier than fighting back and risking everything. We'd have no more headaches, no more suspensions, no more disruptions to our revenue streams. And all it would cost us is our integrity. All we'd have to trade for a little peace of mind and a platform is the truth itself and our right to speak it. All we have
So brutal. Check out the rest of this video if you guys get a chance. Link will be in the description. Shout out to Babylon Bee doing good work. Let's go and check in with Chase Geyser, host of Sunday Night Live on InfoWars, which is now being shut down and liquidated, unfortunately. Ooh, Aniani, thanks. Oh, Uncharted X, Ben. Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook. Really, really good channel as well. Real quick, let's hop over to the channel in question. Aniani just posted this. Uncharted X, you guys have to follow Uncharted X. Really, really good channel. We were playing clips from them the other day. How about this? This is a good video that he posted with Chris Dunn, where they took these ancient Egyptian vases and used high-tech metrology equipment to measure the precision with which these were crafted. And they are perfectly circular with, I'm getting goosebumps even just thinking about it, within like a few 10,000ths of an inch. Stuff that we can only barely accomplish today with modern technology, and they were doing it in antiquity. There is definitive proof that there were ancient advanced machines equivalent to CNC machines that were used back in the day to create all kinds of things, including vases, sculptures, you name it. Really amazing stuff. Thanks for the good recommendation, Aniani. Great show. Let's hop back over to Chase Geyser, who reacted to Harry Sisson, the sissy, saying, I can't wait for InfoWars to be shut down and for Alex Jones to give all of his money and assets to the people he's so viciously defamed. Sweet, sweet justice, except he didn't defame anybody. Tyrell over here saying, for what? Telling the truth? Unlike you. Harry Sisson, we'll get into that in a little bit shortly. A paid Democrat shill with this Cancel Cloco video exposing that. We'll jump over to that in a second. Ian Carroll, if you guys aren't familiar with Ian Carroll at Cancel Cloco, Cancel This Clothing Company. He does amazing work. You guys will absolutely love his channel on X. Make sure to follow him. But let's hop back to Chase Geyser quickly, who, as a result of Harry Sisson's bullshit accusations against InfoWars, challenges Harry Sisson to a lawful duel under Texas Penal Code 22.06. This is Chase Geyser. I would pay so much money to see Chase Geyser pistol duel Harry Sissy. It would be hilarious. So he challenges Harry Sisson to a duel and shows a DM that he sent to Harry Sisson over here. I challenge you to a lawful duel under Texas Penal Code 22.06. Hilarious. Let's make it happen, guys. We got to see this. Got to see this happen. Everybody put the pressure on Harry Sisson, Sissy Boy, to accept this offer for a duel. He's never going to do it, but it would be amazing. Let's check out some of this Cancel Cloco video of Ian Carroll exposing Harry Sisson.
Oh, baby! In case you haven't been paying attention, some of the biggest creators on TikTok are actually putting out paid political propaganda. And they're not telling you. But the thing about the new media is the new media does what the new media does. And we got people like Beauty Merc. Go drop him a follow to tell you the truth.
What does everybody see wrong with this picture? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's the fact that Harry Sisson and Chris Mowry are in this photo. Now, first off, let's start with Harry Sisson's LinkedIn profile, right? Just so happens to be a content creator for Palette Management. Just so happen to look at all expenditures by the Democratic Party in 2022. You might just so happen to see who on that list with that amount of money right there. But wait, that's not all. Profiles
That's
on LinkedIn
right,
that are
Gator.
associated with Mr. Harry himself, right? With Chris Mowry being right there. Kind of weird
Good
how
to
you
see
can
you,
find
brother.
their transaction history. Oh, kind of ironic how that amount just so happens to equal the same amount that I just showed everybody, right? With the disbursement date being none other than when? For $200,000, Harry. Sure, it's no coincidence, right? Harry wouldn't give us biased news. When that influencer meeting was called upon by Joe Biden himself, right? Mr. Harry Sisson just so happened to be at that meeting. But this is who I want the main attention on right here, right? I'm sure everybody knows who that is. Because shit like this is definitely not sketchy, right? She
Not
wouldn't
sketchy
be
at all.
reporting biased news, would she? But what's really intriguing is she just so happens to be associated with none other than who? Sitting at that table looking real comfortable, aren't you? Aren't you? Looking real comfortable, aren't you? He wouldn't give anybody biased news, would he? You can never pay me enough to be at the White House without running my motherfucking mouth.
Seriously, no chance you could get me there without calling these motherfuckers out to their faces. Caps, just so you understand what Gator was saying, awakening to the Twilight Zone this morning. Indeed, we all have, because we are totally living in the Twilight Zone. But he's talking about me being awake before like 4 p.m. I got up super early today to go raid the Bongino show. So shout out again to the McGroin Nation and the McGroin clan joining us here. Appreciate all you guys. And thanks for your support. I'll be looking forward to joining you guys on McGroin Nation. Let's continue.
It doesn't matter what candidate is in office. Or let's talk about this, which they're pretty open about now, with supposedly a third of people ages 18 and 29 preferring to get their news from TikTok and other social media. So supposedly the what is working on new ways to get its message out to those audiences. And V from Under the Desk News, like I just showed you, saying that she was very excited to be at the People's House having lemonade, waiting for the president to speak. And then they flaunt how many followers that she had.
See, there's nothing wrong with a content creator putting out political content. There's nothing wrong with a content creator doing brand
Thanks,
deals,
Buckeye.
taking sponsorships. But there's something wrong with a content creator combining those two things and not telling you. So if you see a content creator that's super successful out there, who's not doing a whole lot of financial disclosure, but seems to be making a lot of money and making a lot of content about brands or about politics, you should probably ask some questions. And again, shout out Beauty Merc. Go follow him. They try to paint people into conspiracy theory corners, but what they actually are is just people that do research and don't accept what they're told. And those
Right.
are the exact kind of people that are going to figure out what they're not telling you. Nice try, government. Not today.
Not today, bitch. Think for yourself, question authority. And in case you have any questions about this podcast, we are supported by nobody. We don't have any sponsors or anything like that. I rely on you guys to keep this broadcast going. So thank you for supporting this show. I answer only to you guys and nobody else. Let's hop over to Owen Schroyer, who was imprisoned for standing outside the Capitol on J6 and trying to get people to go to the permitted protest zone. Owen Schroyer, the intrepid patriot, talking about Harry Sisson and Mike Pence running their dumbass mouths. Scroll forever in replies, he says, and you won't find a single comment in support of these clowns. How is it we get politically dominated by these pukes when no one likes them or what they have to say? We saw Harry Sisson and Mike Pence with their idiotic ramblings today, and yet nobody backs these people. It's all smoke and mirrors being pushed with the controlled corporate media and the algorithms of big tech pushing the narratives of the establishment, etc. So you guys know what's going on there. Let's see, what do we got next? We got a new airliner company. What about this? You guys heard about this? Do not underestimate at Boom Aero. Have you guys heard of this? Looks like a new company manufacturing planes. Commercial flight will never be the same. I was talking about, with all the Boeing stuff going on, how we need some competitors in the aeroplane manufacturing industry. And it looks like some people are stepping up over here. I've never seen a plane that looks quite like this before. So that's kind of exciting. Boom Supersonic Boom Aero. Let's check it out. Wow, look at this. Neat looking plane. Wow, that's really futuristic looking, pretty cool. Boom Supersonic, building the world's fastest airliner, Overture, optimized for speed, safety, and sustainability. Ooh, sustainability. That makes me a little bit sketched out. But let's see what's going on over here. XB-1 takes flight. Today, Boom's supersonic demonstrator aircraft, XB-1, this is March 22nd when this happened, safely and successfully executed its first flight at the Mojave Air and Spaceport in Mojave, California. Flown by Chief Test Pilot Bill Doc Shoemaker, Test Pilot Tristan Geppetto Brandenburg. Let's take a look at this video and see what's going on with this new airliner company.
Mojave Air and Spaceport, automated weather observation, 192, Niner Zulu.
Supersonic jet. Yeah, right, Cap. This is a beautiful plane, no doubt about that. Sleek, just gorgeous. Oh, so this is a smaller one, supersonic jet that they're testing out. They've got multiple models of aeroplanes. That's pretty cool.
Here we go. This is for first flight. I need a positive receipt from everyone.
That's right, Buckeye.
FCS.
Go.
Dampers.
Go.
Arrow.
Arrow, go.
Flutter. Flutter, go.
Loads, go.
Avi.
Avi, go.
Fuel. Fuel, go. ECS.
Go.
Drop.
You guys see the video of the Boeing space pod with the window falling off as it approached the launch pad the other day? Redonkulous.
Godspeed, XB-1 first flight.
Damn, that's a nice looking plane. This is great to see. We need more competition in the airline space. Boom, it says on the side. A major milestone towards the return of supersonic travel. Cool.
Hey guys, how about XB-1? How about this team?
Very sharp, Buckeye. Agreed. Very sharp. We also have exclusive images emerging of Joe Biden's training for the debates. This was posted by our boy Gator down in Texas, prepping Joe Biden for the debates because he's going to be eaten alive. Good one, Gator. Hanging out with, like Uncle Bozy with the cannibals over here. Gator, make sure to follow Gator on X at Gator526621636. I can never remember it. Sorry, Gator. But subscribe to Gator. He's the man. We love Gator. And this is a classic meme. Instant classic. Good find. What do we have next? We've got another article from the Gateway Pundit, Gator. I know you'll like that. Sometimes I maybe share a few too many Gateway Pundit links, but they do good work, man. What can I say? Merchand's sham verdict violated the Constitution in spades, unpacking some of the most grievous abuses. We are now a little over 2 weeks away from President Trump's sentencing, scheduled for July 11th in New York. By this point, millions of Americans are keenly aware of the legal onslaught initiated by Biden and the Democrat Party against DJT, which has deeply impacted the integrity of our judicial system. No longer can a criminal defendant, especially one with a dissenting or pro-Trump views, be confident that his constitutional rights will be upheld in every court across the nation. I just remembered the name of the judge that I was trying to remember last night, Emmett Smith, who railroaded General Flynn. When the prosecutors decided to drop the case, he brought in his own prosecutors. Major conflict of interest to keep prosecuting him. We saw Alex Jones denied a jury trial as they gave him a default judgment and just tasked the jury to decide how guilty he is. How much money does he have to pay? Same thing happened with Rudy Giuliani. And then the same thing with Trump, with Judge Engoron, a judgment notwithstanding the jury or verdict, whatever it is, where he basically just tossed it over guilty and just tossed it over to the jury to decide how guilty. Completely insane. This stark reality, which runs counter to long-standing American principles, underscores the critical stakes of this year's election cycle. Essentially, what's at stake is not just democracy, which we don't have. We're a constitutional republic with democratic principles, but the very integrity of our justice system. And that's right. People have looked at the U.S. as a beacon of integrity for justice and for corporate law as well. People have been incorporating in Delaware from all around the world. That's thrown out the window with the Delaware court's decision to strike down Tesla's bonuses that they gave to Elon Musk. This whole system is being turned on its head, unfortunately. While Donald Trump and Joe Biden's names will appear on the ballot this fall, potentially, we'll see if they swap out Sleepy, Creepy Joe after this debate. Voters will effectively choose between two fundamentally divergent and incompatible forms of government, one rooted in constitutional principles that uphold the rule of law, due process, and a myriad of cherished guarantees. And that's what I'm saying, that the left, it's their ideas, their ideology is contrary to the individualist philosophy of the United States. Individualism and collectivism are polar opposites, incompatible. And they've slowly been introducing more and more collectivist ideals ever since the creation of the Federal Reserve, and arguably before that. But they got control of the government with the Federal Reserve because he who controls the money controls everything. Yeah, that's right, Aniani. Hard to believe that Joe Biden will be the actual candidate. Ooh, nice. There's going to be a big Patriot rally July 11th outside the courthouse. That's going to be nuts. Be careful. That could be like a J6 type honeypot. So exactly, Aniani. We're in the middle of a communist revolution. With 1908, they got the FBI, and J. Edgar Hoover started collecting dirt on all the politicians, which he used to maintain power in the FBI for decades under like 5 or 6 different administrations. With that power, they helped to bring in the Federal Reserve, which took over the money system. Next couple decades, they brought in the FDR, avowed commie, with the New Deal, bringing in socialist, leftist policies into our government. Then in 1942, good to know, Caps. Fingers crossed that it stays peaceful and everything goes well. In 1942, they created the OSS, the precursor to the CIA, where they basically took the industrial might of the USA, all of the power and strength that we developed through the free market and the Industrial Revolution, and they hijacked our economy with the Federal Reserve. Then with the OSS, they took all of our power and turned it outwards and began using the U.S. as a puppet state for the communist overthrow of the planet, helping to consolidate communist power around the globe, upending governments, overthrowing democratically elected leaders. We effectively became the muscle, a weapon of the international communist banking cartel that used us to foment and enact communist revolutions around the globe, and to the point where, so simultaneously we're working for them to enact their ambitions, and they're sucking value out of our system. So now we've been used to the point where we're basically a dried out husk, and now they're finalizing the communist takeover with the final transformation of the U.S. We can't allow it to happen. We need to back our money with commodities again to prevent this from being able to happen again. We need a constitutional amendment for that. Thanks, Aniani. We need a constitutional amendment for sound money. Oh yeah, Lou's definitely going down there, Shoemaker. That's going to be a good stream for sure. For sure. I see the Titanic. Yeah, pretty sus. Fed formed a year after Titanic sunk. Well, also J.P. Morgan, the guy who was behind the creation of the Federal Reserve, organizing the Rothschilds agents like Paul Warburg and others to meet in secret at Jekyll Island in one of the Carolinas, where they planned the creation of the Federal Reserve in secret. J.P. Morgan was the owner of the White Star Line, who owned the Titanic and the ocean liner company who was doing the Titanic thing with the Olympic. He had a reservation on the Titanic as well. He invited Guggenheim, Astor, and Strauss to join the maiden voyage. Yeah, yeah, totally. And then he canceled his reservation an hour before it set sail. They had sent out the USS Californian with a skeleton crew and thousands of blankets and sweaters to go park amidst the ice floe. But what happened? They swapped out the colors of the flares on the Titanic and hid the key for the lockbox that had the binoculars in it. So they hit the iceberg with first mate Charles Lightoller at the wheel, who confessed to his family that he steered into the iceberg, saying it was an accident because there are two forms of steering on ocean liners. One where you turn the wheel right and the ship turns to the right. The other where you turn the wheel left and the ship turns to the right. So he claimed he got confused and panicked in the moment, turned into the iceberg accidentally, clearly on purpose. It was a setup. And D, thanks so much for the Rumble rant. Because Sterling got up early. I got up so early today, D. It's insane. Valentine Patriot, so good to see you, man. Hope you have a great day at work and that you're having a good week. Hope to see you again sometime soon, my friend. So yeah, they basically killed the competitors who were against the creation of the Federal Reserve. They swapped out the flares, so the USS Californian was out there sitting in the ice floe waiting for the emergency flares. But the flares that they had, the Titanic launched them, they were party flares, party colors. So the USS Californian thought, oh, nothing's matter, they're just partying over there. Right, they knowingly sped full speed at night straight into not just an iceberg, but a whole ice field. So fake, such a hoax. By the time the Titanic had left Belfast, there was already a coal fire burning uncontrollably in coal bunker number 10. The engine crew quit when they got to England, saying that it was not a new ship, something was going on. I think that after the Olympic, the sister ship, who had the same captain that was captaining the Titanic on the fateful voyage, crashed into a pier. They crashed into a couple things. It was permanently damaged. I think they swapped out a couple panes of glass, swapped out the propellers, launched the Olympic as the Titanic A to get rid of Guggenheim, Astor, and Strauss, who would have spoken out against the creation of the Federal Reserve, and B, to get money for the insurance fraud. Morbid story time. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. That's right. Yeah, we're out early today, out and about. Shit is crazy. Not used to being awake this early, so I'm all jacked up on InfoWars foundational energy. And 8 o'clock hazelnut coffee. Super good. D, thanks again for the Rumble rant. If you guys want your voice heard, we will read all Rumble rants just for the record. And people who Rumble rant or support the show via our various links, Subscribe Star, Locals, Cash App, Venmo, Google Pay, etc., you'll automatically be entered. Get your name in the hat to win copies of our books, Common Censored and Common Sense, your choice. You know what? Mama Mac actually decided to pay it forward and wanted me to give away her copy to somebody else. So, while you guys are here, let's hop over to the hat and pick out a name. All right, you guys can see I'm not looking. Let's see, pick one name from the hat. Let's see who we got. Threeper. We got Threeper 416. Threeper, you lucky guy, you just won a copy of one of our books. Boom! I'll contact you and you can let me know which one you would prefer. Congratulations, Threeper, on your big win. Threeper, one of our steadfast supporters. Great dude. Veteran. We love Threeper. Let's see. Where were we? Talking about the Titanic and everything. Yeah. So if you guys want more information from Gateway Pundit, check this out. They break down the various ways that the Merchand's decision was unconstitutional. Thanks, Buckeye. Yeah, congratulations to Threeper. What do you got, Gator? Let's see. Common Censored. Viewer supported by you, the viewer. That's right. Viewer supported show over here. Counting on you to keep this broadcast alive. Thanks to Threeper and everybody else for supporting the show. I appreciate you guys. Yep, Titanic was an insurance/Federal Reserve murder scheme. I think you guys probably agree about that. Let's go over to PBD next. PBD had a guest on yesterday, it seems. That is somebody that I find their take to be very valuable. This is a clip called "They'll Erase You," quote unquote. Super Elites Invention Secrecy Act, Tesla, UFOs, with Dr. Stephen Greer, founder of the Disclosure Project and SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Greer had a great press conference last summer with a bunch of whistleblowers talking about Lockheed Skunk Works, advanced anti-gravity UFOs, and this one guy, a Marine, had an experience in Indonesia in like 2009 era where they were doing their thing. They crossed over a mountain ridge and they see an octagonal, like black graphite style UFO with the bottom dropped out of it. And they're driving trucks up on there, loading it with stuff. And before they know it, they're surrounded by dudes in black with high-tech gear that wasn't even supposed to exist at that point in time. Dudes with American accents who are apparently determined later by the design of these boxes that they were loading on. They think that they were trafficking people in anti-gravity stealth UFOs, possibly manufactured by Lockheed Skunk Works. Crazy, crazy stuff. If you guys aren't familiar with oh, it's all good, Caps. Go enjoy your lunch. We don't want you fainting. This show, once it's out there for everybody to enjoy. So thank you so much for being here today, Caps. Great to meet you. Thanks again for your support and for the invite over to McGroin Nation. I'll be looking forward to joining you guys over there. Yeah, go eat. Enjoy. So let's check out some of this clip from PBD with Dr. Stephen Greer, the medical doctor who turned UFO activist, somebody whose opinion I value greatly. I think he does really good work. This is the full 2-hour, 34-minute long interview. We'll watch a little bit of it and then transition to our next topics. Let's go.
I want to know, do you know what technologies and patents are in there?
I do.
Okay, can you share some of them with the public?
I can do.
It's got 30 plus years of logs of whistleblowers and documents that they've given him. He's actually in the process right now of forming an online database to disclose all of it. A searchable database where people can go and download these terabytes of information. It's going to be huge. All kinds of secret technology, all kinds of secret projects, in my opinion. And thanks, Bucky. You're the best. In my opinion, there is not only NASA. I think NASA's a front, which is why everything they put out is fake. There's a secret space program exposed by a lot of intrepid activists and investigators over the years using technology stolen from the Nazis and developed with Project Paperclip. We apparently have had anti-gravity since like the mid-50s. And all kinds of free energy technology that they keep secret and use to oppress us because, like Tesla creating a black box free energy device that would empower individual households, they didn't want to empower people. They would need to hoard the technology for themselves. It's the same reason they illegalized cannabis, because cannabis is basically money that grows on trees. It's a top source for ethanol, better than corn, more paper per acre more paper per quarter acre than an acre of trees. Plus, you can do it twice a year at least. It's a great source of biodegradable plastic as well as fibers, and it's makes great clothing, etc. So they needed to make cannabis illegal to kneecap Americans because it would decentralize a massive source of resources and energy But yeah, that they had to kneecap Tesla for the same reason, because they can't have the people being empowered. They need to centralize and control and dominate energy production. Let's check out this interview with PBD. Sorry for rambling over here.
Technologies and patents are in there.
I do.
Okay, can you share some of them with the public?
I can do better than that. This would literally end all pollution on Earth, but it would also end poverty on the planet within about 20 years. This is a big announcement. I hope this goes viral because that's what we need. Their plan
Share the broadcast now, guys.
A threat from outer space to try to unite the world, like Independence Day, the movie, in a sort of a military global junta of humans against aliens back in the 70s. So they could hit a button basically and stage an alien attack on the planet.
Project Bluebeam, boom.
What do you think about Elon Musk and what role? Is he like a Nikola Tesla? Is he a good guy in your eyes?
If he was inclined to research this end of it, he wouldn't be making I call it a fake Tesla. I mean, a real Tesla car wouldn't have to be plugged in. That existed in 1920s. Nikola Tesla had one.
Yep. I met a dude in 2008 at 100 Broadway, Borders, New York City, at the book signing for Ron Paul's the Revolution, a manifesto. This dude had like a giant army Humvee, and he had driven down from upstate New York on a single tank of water using HHO, water put through electrolysis to release hydrogen atoms, powering this big military Humvee on water. People who come out with patents for water engines basically shoot themselves in the back of the heads with shotguns, if you know what I'm saying. So let's continue over here. I'm gonna be right back. I got to go get Loki, our mascot, up. It's time for her to wake up, so I'm going to bring her downstairs, and I'll be right back. I'll let this play as I do that.
Folks, the world is the oyster. They operate as they want.
Who nominates them?
Nobody. It's so sensitive. We're not going to let the president control this anymore, or the Congress. The big corporate media, left, right, center, all of it is corrupt.
You're convinced all of it is corrupt?
Absolutely corrupt. And the proof of it is,
so a couple months ago, I watched this documentary called The Lost Century. Blown away by it. First time I heard about Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. I told my wife, baby, you got to watch it. Then I told my son, you got to watch it. I told everybody, you got to watch this documentary. 6,000 patents that were protected by this senator called John Sparkman. It went into effect in 1952. Somehow, some way, that year, they chose to nominate him on the Democratic Party as the vice president. November 1st, we test the biggest nuclear test at the time that was 700 times more powerful than the one we dropped in Hiroshima. November 5th was election. And then Stephen Greer, I said, hey, man, I know we did a podcast 4 years ago. We got to do another one because I got a whole different thing I want to talk to you about. He came on. We had a 2.5-hour conversation together. He told me about the fact that the government has access to technology to teleport. You know, teleportation we hear about in movies and sci-fi and all this stuff. Says, nah, they've had access to it for a while. Told a time about an encounter that George H.W. Bush Sr. had with President Bill Clinton, telling him what to stop talking about and not even look into. A private conversation he had with Barry Goldwater. Lots of weird things. Colleagues that were killed for having information. And then today, he releases this project he's been working on for many, many years, where you'll have access to all these information from the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951. Anyways, I don't want to take anything away from this. You will be fascinated by this conversation, especially if you are a capitalist, if you have a family, and you want to find a way to preserve this great, world we're living in, right? Earth. And you want it to be around, and you want to find out who are the power players that are controlling all the good things that could potentially happen to you and I for the future. You're going to want to watch this thing in its entirety, and you'll thank me at the end of the podcast. Having said that, here's Dr. Stephen Greer.
30 seconds.
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could take sweet victory. I know.
All right, I am back. Let's skip ahead through the intro here.
The last time. So the last time
oh
we were
man,
together,
Cheddar, that's
you and
sketchy.
I, was May of 2020, which is a little over 4 years ago, 4 years and a month.
Yep.
And it was a fascinating conversation. Millions of people watched it. It was great. We talked about aliens. We talked about your encounters with aliens, experiences, what you've done.
Stay safe, Julian Assange. Stay safe, brother.
Obviously a doctor, scientist, the things you've worked on. I even think your dad, was he working on the certain responsibilities with the atomic for the government? What was your dad's?
No, it was my uncle helped design the lunar module.
The lunar, that's right, your
landed
uncle.
on the moon the first time with Neil Armstrong.
So this
interesting. In one of the Lunar Prospector mission, I was at a 2012 conference called Megalithomania, created by this guy Hugh Newman, and there was a speaker there named Jeffrey Wilson, whose father worked on the Lunar Prospector missions, and he said they launched the lunar lander down onto the surface of the moon after having placed seismographs on the surface of the moon to test the results. And when the lunar module hit the surface of the moon rang like a bell, like it's hollow. So interesting food for thought there. They also took a core sample, which is when you take a circular drill and you get a circular core that you extract from something. They took a 23-foot core sample from the moon, and apparently the radiation signature of the core sample changed partway through the sample, indicating that it may have previously been orbiting a different star. So who knows what's going on with that? The placement of the moon and its tidal lock, the fact that it's not orbiting in a visible manner, how it just stays the same face constantly around the Earth, and the way that it's the perfect same size as the sun from our perspective, seems to me like it may have been artificially placed and towed into orbit somehow. And it is, of course, the moon that creates the tides, that creates the winds. Life on Earth would not be the same without the moon. So interesting stuff involving the moon, really weird stuff.
This is in your genes. You've been interested in this for a while. And then recently, I was late to this. 2 months ago, I watched The Lost Century, right? And How to Reclaim It. A documentary they did that I think came out in 2023.
Lost Century and How to Reclaim It is a documentary by Stephen Greer where they break down all these advanced technologies that have been developed in the 20th century and suppressed by the government so that they wouldn't get out and empower humanity. Everything that the federal government does is to unempower the individual and to empower themselves. Unfortunately, it's a really sad Gator.
If I'm not mistaken.
Mark, what's going on? Maritime 1995. It's not 3:30-ish yet. That's right. I got up early today so we could go raid the Bongino show, which was a lot of fun. Shout out to Clan McGroin joining us today. Hope you're having a good day, Mark.
Right, it came out last year. I watched it, and then I was blown away by the Invention Secrecy Act, and I went down a rabbit hole, and I wanted to find out who wrote this bill. And what happened to the guy that wrote the bill? The guy that wrote the bill, you know who he is, the John Sparksman, I think his name is, or something like that. You know, he ends up becoming the nominee for the Democratic vice presidential candidate of 1952, exactly the year they wrote the bill, and they're holding on to 6,000 patents.
This is fucked up because in 1947, they passed the National Security Act, which basically made all the criminal activity of the OSS, precursor to the CIA, how they turned the industrial might of the U.S. outward to propagate their communist global revolution, made all that secret with the National Security Act. And then the next step was making patents and inventions secret, I guess, to suppress revolutionary technology that could free the individual and empower the individual.
And then I had my wife watch it. Then I had my son watch it. He's here right now. He just mentioned
I haven't
a few
actually
minutes
watched
ago.
it yet, so I got to watch
and
that
I think
doc.
the world needs to know about this. Right. And that's when I said,
maybe we'll do a stream of it and review and comment as we watch The Lost Century. That'd be a lot of fun.
I think we need to do part 2, and I'm glad you said yes.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. So
you do a great show.
So let's.
Of all of the UFO guys, Stephen Greer might be the best, in my opinion, although there's some stiff competition.
Let's start off with that. I mean, I got a lot of things I want to go through with you, but I want to start off with that. To the average person, when I ask them,
Mark.
have you heard of the Invention Secrecy Act? When I tell you 99% say I've never heard of it, I'm being friendly. Right. Because 100% people are like, what is the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951? Can you tell the audience what is the Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, who was behind it, and why?
Well, it actually became an offshoot of the projects from the 40s dealing with energy and technology and propulsion systems that
and resulting from our capture of a variety of advanced level Nazi scientists like Werner von Braun, who basically created the U.S. rocket program.
If they were disclosed, would be the immediate replacement of oil, gas, coal, surface transportation.
He's talking about anti-gravity technology, which we supposedly got from the Nazis, from their Vril Society that created it, and the Ahnenerbe, these groups that were working to create anti-gravity propulsion systems with projects like Die Glocke, the Bell. Crazy, crazy stuff, man.
Public utilities. Well, in today's dollars, you're talking probably over $1,000 trillion. So what most people don't realize is that around between 1945 and 1954 was the heyday of electromagnetic engineering dealing with energy and propulsion.
Mastered
and it was from two sources. Research that had been done in the late 1800s and early 20th century, and even things that people call anti-gravity, not the correct scientific term, but let's just go with that. It's really gravity control. Those experiments started in the late 20s with T. Townsend Brown and the Kolosky-Frost experiment.
Right, that makes actually great sense. It's not anti-gravity because they can lessen gravity. They can also increase gravity. They use the creation of a stronger gravity field, forming a gravity well in front of the craft, as described by Bob Lazar, who worked allegedly at the S4 Groom Lake facility out by Area 51, reverse engineering what he called the Sport model, one of 3 recovered UFOs. There was this system of propulsion that involved 3 cylinders manipulating an element called element 115, un pentium, and triangulating with the 3 cylinders a fixed point in space-time beneath or relative to the craft, where they would create an artificial gravity field. So they create an artificial gravity field. The craft is basically sucked into it, and it just it glides through space in a gravity well, effectively. So that video, the famous gimbal video, captured by Air Force pilots, where it shows a saucer-shaped craft kind of rotating. That seems to be the craft rotating to direct the gravity well and to travel in that direction. If it indeed does operate by the type of propulsion system that Bob Lazar famously was working on reverse engineering.
In Germany, and where very high voltage systems would cause objects to lift and basically have mass cancellation and look like they're defying gravity and levitate.
This is the G engines you're talking about.
Yep, but that was earlier. I mean, that was later. This was 20s. But those began to be more and more classified. So T. Townsend Brown's work became some of the core founding for what's called the RAND Corporation.
That's right.
In Ventura, California. But those got populated with research from retrieving extraterrestrial vehicles in the mid-40s and 50s.
Interestingly, the Nazis had all kinds of crazy tech. Die Glocke, anti-gravity. They had U-boats that were like 5 times as big as the American U-boats, capable of transporting massive payloads. And at the end of World War II, 100 of them just vanished into thin air. It seems that the Nazis continued operating after World War II down in Argentina and also in Antarctica, likely at Base 211, which was supposedly in these tunnels formed by warm freshwater lakes under the ice caps that I think I'll probably only be doing this show today, Buckeye. I'll probably be all wiped out, although the amount of material that we have to cover is endless. But I'll probably take tonight off and do some family time with my parents who are in town. But we'll do the full 3-hour show now. But yeah, there's Buckeye. You're the best. There's a show on History Channel a few years ago called Hunting Hitler, where they went down to Argentina and found all of these remnants of German constructions and Nazi hideouts. They found a bicycle factory which had been commandeered by the Germans, where they were using it to manufacture explosives, including TNT. They found Nazi outposts all overgrown and ruined after decades in the jungle. It seems like the Nazis, a large portion of them, survived World War II, escaping through this with their subs down to Antarctica, and also through Project Odessa, where the Vatican helped smuggle out Nazis, high-ranking Nazi officials through Italy down to South America and elsewhere. But then, interestingly, is like 1952, the Antarctic Treaty may have been an agreement with all the nations to keep secret the Nazi colony that existed still down in Antarctica. And it's possible they're still down there right now, and maybe even beyond Antarctica in the inner Earth, if you subscribe to the hollow Earth theory. When the Russians sacked Berlin, they recovered documents allegedly showing a map to that underneath the ice to base 211, and maps of the interior of the Earth with additional continents, one of which was called Asgard, the place, the home, the famous home of the Aesir gods from Norse mythology. Thanks, Aniani. Great to see you live. And so really, really weird, interesting stuff going on with that. That's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down as well. But we may, some of the UFOs that we see today may actually be current Nazis, if you could believe it.
Where they began to study them under a very highly classified project. I have the documents. We've just released all of them to the public last month in our Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. But it describes...
Oh, it's out. The archive is released. Oh my God, that's huge. Huge, huge, huge. Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. Oh man.
Last month in our Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive. But it describes, in one of the Canadian top secret documents, that a top secret team was working on this in 1950, and the work they were doing surpassed the secrecy of the development of the hydrogen bomb, the ultimate doomsday weapon, you can imagine. Now, this is an authenticated top secret document. So the punchline of that is there was this technological breakthroughs, both human and in studying objects from outer space, let's say, that came together, the two mighty rivers that became this torrent, but very classified. So they realized that there were too many people stumbling across this, and they created this act to give the government the power that even if you don't apply for a patent, if they learn you have something that they want to seize, all they have to do is issue a national security order on it, and they take it.
That's so unconstitutional. It's outrageous that that they even get away with that. It's so against everything that this country stands for. Launched this week. Oh man, you got a link? I may have found it over here at Internet Archive. Full text of Disclosure Project briefing document. Looks like there is a whole lot of stuff in this, but I don't think this is the original. This is the Internet Archive version. Michelle, if you've got a link, that'd be great if you would send it over my way. Definitely appreciate that, and thanks for the heads up that it is indeed out now. Let's continue a little bit more with this awesome interview with Dr. Stephen Greer on PBD, the Patrick Bet-David Show. And if you guys are new to this broadcast, I'm Lord Sterling. This is Common Censored, and we are the Censored Commoners working together as force multipliers to accelerate and exacerbate the Great Awakening to defeat the communist takeover before they lock down total control of the U.S. and their cashless control grid prison planet that they've been working for centuries to accomplish total global domination. But now we've got the Great Awakening, we've got the BRICS nations splitting from the international banking cartel. It seems that their fate is sealed. We just need to keep at it and keep working together to expose real information and keep waking people up, because right now is the time. It's the final hour. We need to double down and go harder than ever before to reveal the truth. Let's continue.
And this is not a conspiracy theory and all that. It's just a fact. You can look up people can look this up. And I've worked over the years with many, many people who've had that happen to them, geniuses that have had their work confiscated. And it would be an enormous benefit to humanity. But the super elite, global elite, don't want that out. They didn't want it out in the 50s, and they don't want it out now. So that is the core of the secrecy behind what people call UFOs or UAPs. That's really the heart of it. The other thing is that when I go into a SCIF, a secure compartment information facility where top secret information is exchanged, one of the first things I do, whether it's with the members of Congress or some military people, is to tell them, see this video that the Pentagon has confirmed is real of this UFO flying off the coast of California, and they got released years ago. And I said, just look at that. Forget all the esoteric and alien cachet and baggage. That is an alternative energy and propulsion device, period. And I said, if you look at how it's moving and the sensors that they put on that thing, both from space and the ship, the big battleship out there, and the jet pilots flying those F-18s, they had no heat signature. And Pat, here's the thing. There's no jets, there's no rockets, and if it was a nuclear power plant, it would be very hot, because fission is extremely hot. So how is it doing? How is it moving like that? Well, it's using this whole new physics. And this is why most of our Air Force and other pilots, when they encounter these, they immediately assume all of them are alien or extraterrestrial, when in reality, I'd say 70–80% of them are ours.
Yep. And it is possible that, since we do have reports of UFOs going back all through history, even like pictures, famous paintings from like Christian paintings that show what appear to be saucer craft beaming things down. It's possible that they're aliens. It's possible that they're the remnants of the ancient Anunnaki who may live on the inner Earth, which sounds like a crazy rabbit hole, but may actually be accurate. Super, super crazy stuff.
Highly classified, illegally run covert programs without the oversight of the Congress and the president. So that secrecy.
And they fund it all with black money, black budget funds from drug dealing. For instance, all the money they made from selling Afghani heroin throughout our entire occupation of Afghanistan over the 20+ previous years, as well as illegal human trafficking money. It's like $160 billion a year industry. I think a lot of that money, considering the testimony last summer of the Marine who seems to have witnessed Lockheed Skunk Works octagonal UFOs trafficking humans in Indonesia, they may be funding these black projects through human trafficking, which is terrifying.
It has become so embedded. Eisenhower had a pretty good clue about it when he left office, and he said, beware the military-industrial complex. And I remind people, he's a 5-star general, right? And a conservative Republican, moderate.
Also kind of a bitch, though. Well, we don't have to talk about that now.
Republican back then. But he was no enemy of the military. But he warned the dangers to democracy and secrecy because of this. Now, he didn't mention the UFO issue, but he was very much read in, and I can prove that. Our archive goes through that. And he then, by 1957 to 8, was being pushed aside out of those programs. And we actually have an attorney who at the time was a young man in the Army. His testimony we released in this archive, where he says he was at the White House Signal Corps in 1959, 60, before Eisenhower left.
I could spend
Eisenhower
days
told him
combing through the archive.
that he was being blocked control over these projects. So these covert programs have been, let's just say, off the leash for most of the last 60
So
years.
I want to ask you this. So I'm going through timeline while you're talking, and I'm taking notes here,
Sure.
So Hiroshima happened August 6, 1945.
Right.
Okay. Nagasaki happened August 9th, 1945. Okay. Invention Secrecy Act happened in 1951, which ended up being a law 1952, led by Senator John Sparksman. Great. And that year, he ends up being nominated as the vice president for the Democratic, nominee. Okay. Then the election that year, that the day we voted on Tuesday, was November 4th of 1952. 3 days prior to that, on November 1st of 1952, is the big explosion that we had, the thermonuclear explosion that took place. Rob, if you can pull this up. Type in hydrogen bomb year. Just type in hydrogen bomb year Okay. So if you type in hydrogen, can you zoom in that? I just want to read that right there. The U.S. tested the first full-scale thermonuclear device on November 1st of 1952. The result was an explosion that was equivalent to one produced by more than 10 million tons of TNT. This was approximately 700 times the power of the uranium bomb dropped in Hiroshima. Stephen, 700. So here's what I'm trying to find out. The time span from August 6th, Hiroshima, August 9th, Nagasaki, Invention Secrecy Act of 1951, 52 becomes in, then November 1st, we have the hydrogen bomb, November 4th is the election. Is the reason why they put the Invention Secrecy Act a noble cause, or was it the fact that people of big industries were afraid that maybe they're about to lose some of their control and business that they have? Because there's a part of it that could be like, no, it was noble. We were worried. We wanted to make sure that certain things wouldn't be available to other people, because if they did, what if out there in the free marketplace somebody explodes and messes with this uranium, and then all of a sudden we lose we lose our country, we lose all this stuff. How much do you think was noble? How much of you think it was, hey, you passed this bill, we'll make you the vice president, we can do this? What do you think happened there?
I think it's both. I think for certain there are certain valid national security secrets that are technological that should be kept that way, and I don't have a grievance with that.
And he excluded those from the disclosure, this new archive that he's released. Let's move on, keep it moving. I could just sit here and watch this all day, but I don't want to bore you guys. Let me post the link in the Rumble chat right now for you guys, in case you don't want to wait until later on to get the link in our video description. But definitely watch the rest of this. It's going to be really, really good. Let's hop over to our next topic, a little bit of like a palate cleanser joke project, or joke video here. Colin Rugg posted this on X. Colin Rugg, Colin with 2 L's and Rugg with 2 G's. Women are going to Totumo volcano in Colombia to get mud massages from men who rub their bodies because they say the mud has, quote, healing properties. Guests climb up 50 feet of stairs before climbing into the mud to get rubbed up on by locals. Locals call the mud, quote, curative mud, which contains water, silica, aluminum, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, iron, and other materials. Guests believe the mud is, quote, healing, and say it rejuvenates their skin and heals their muscles and joints. The massages are apparently complimentary. Go figure. This has just got to be like a giant petri dish full of gross spike proteins and stuff. But I got a bunch of mud out back, and I offer free massages as well for the unjib-jabbed.
You would be receiving intimate massages, but I swear it was like the best massage of my life, so I was just like, go ahead, do your thing.
Hilarious. So go get rubbed on by the locals if you want, or you can just come to Connecticut, which is probably closer. Oh man. All right, let's jump to our next topic. Brad Porcelato over here at Brad Porcelato. Leftist London Mayor Sadiq Khan bans city's taxis from displaying English flags during the European Football Championships. Not much more of an intense sign of a takeover than that. Sadiq Khan literally banning the taxis from displaying English flags. You guys are under a takeover. Sorry to break it to you. Yeah, BioGator, I'm clarifying. The rub for the unjib-jabbed is for ladies only. Ladies only. Oh, thanks, Gator. Ooh, that was a close one. Oh, man. Hilarious. So, yeah. European Football Championships, taxis are not allowed to display British flags. You're under a commie takeover. Guys, you need to stand up and prevent it from escalating, although you stupidly do not have a Second Amendment over there. That's why America is the last bastion of freedom. That's why we have to work so hard here to make sure that the takeover is stopped, because the borders are gone. Europe is already overrun Super, super crazy. In other news over there, Wales moves forward with a plan to punish politicians for telling lies. I don't know if how this it will work, because what if they say the lie that the truth are the lies? You know what I mean? Will Rogers once said, quote, "If you ever injected truth into politics, you'd have no politics." In Wales, it appears that the government is challenging that assessment. However, if the new legislation criminalizing political lies is successful, the Welsh are likely to find themselves with the same abundance of lies but little free speech. That's right. On its face, it seems like a good idea. Oh, ban lies. But when the people who are banning the lies are calling truth lies, then it's free speech that's banned. Salty McGroin, good to see you. Thanks for joining us, Salty. Salty. We love Salty Cracker. We love the McGroins. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you joining us. A proposal in the Welsh Parliament, or the Senedd, would make it the first country in the world to impose criminal sanctions for lying politicians. Adam Price, the former leader of the Liberal Plaid Cymru Party, is pushing for the criminalization, citing a, quote, credibility gap in UK politics. Imagine if they did this here. They would just ban MAGA. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right. Annie Ree. Totally. So this is crazy. Astonishingly, this uniquely bad idea has received support from a key committee. Once we track for adoption, this is the type of law that can become self-propelling through the legislature. Few politicians want to go on record voting against a law banning political lies. The free speech implications are easily lost in the coverage. So the road to hell, often paved with good intentions, don't miss the forest through the trees. You need to preserve free speech, and that includes lies, unfortunately. We have to defeat lies in the marketplace of ideas, the free market of ideas. That's the only way to do it. Otherwise, centralized control and tyranny will take place, and that's never good. Let's jump to our next topic. I think this one may be okay to talk about on YouTube, but we're not going to take any chances. So we're going to end the YouTube broadcast over here and go Rumble and exclusive. Boom. Just posted the link to the Rumble broadcast in the YouTube chat. If you guys are watching over there, it looks like we have 2 people over there. Val, if you're watching, sorry to have to ditch you, but we're going to get into some no thought territory. So come and join us over on Rumble. Make sure to click that link, open up a new tab or whatever you're doing, and join us. If you can't make it, sorry to have to ditch you, but we'll catch you on the flip side tomorrow. Until then,